Well, after reviewing the game and watching the game tapes, certainly was proud of the way our players competed in the game. We had a lot of guys play hard. We had a lot of guys play winning football. We certainly had to go out and earn it. We ran the ball extremely well on offense. And I think there's obviously some things that we need to improve in the passing game. We did a really good job overall defensively, but made some errors at times on third down, which affected our, third down conversions, which kept drives alive, which kept us on the field, which helped them in two-minute situations to continue to be able to move the ball. We played well in the red zone to keep them out of the end zone. Special teams, we did a good job, but we had 5 special teams penalties in the game, which is half the penalties that we had, which is something that we always emphasize. We need to play penalty free in the kicking game. It affects field position tremendously, so we're going to have to use better judgment in a lot of those situations so that we don't end up shooting ourselves in the foot relative to making a good return and bringing it back. And that's something that I think that we're just going to have to continue to work and focus. And we've got some different guys in there because you get a guy nicked up here or there, and sometimes those guys don't have the same experience and don't make the same kind of decisions. But we need to do a good job of teaching them and helping them so that they can make good decisions in the game. I thought that the drive at the end of the game was really a great drive by our offense. Obviously, a lot of great efforts by Mark Ingram, who's the Offensive Player of the Week for the conference, and also he and Barrett Jones for our team. But in the defense, not allowing them to score in 2 minutes at the end of the game. So finishing the game was a real key in that particular game, which in close games it usually is. Defensively, Rolando McClain, Marquise Johnson, Lorenzo Washington, and Ty King all played extremely well. We had more players have double-digit production points in this game than I think maybe we've ever had in the 3 years that we've been here. Special teams, Julio did an outstanding job stepping in as a returner. He also played very physical, blocking. I know he didn't catch any passes, and everybody's, but stripping the ball out, causing a fumble, blocked well in the game. PJ did a really good job of punting in the game, and Roy was very good on special teams as well. So, this is obviously a game coming up here with Tennessee that, has a special tradition in terms of, their school, what they've been able to accomplish through the years, and what Alabama has been able to accomplish through the years, and 2 great programs that play in a big game every year. And this is certainly, a challenging opportunity for our team, and they are playing extremely well, and they have a very good team. I think that this is probably the best team running the football that we've played, and the strength of their team is probably their backs, as well as their offensive line. Hardesty and Bryce Brown are both, really good physical, downhill, hard runners. They play with a lot of toughness. These guys are extremely well coached. And somebody's going to ask me something about all this other stuff, but really what it comes down to is this is a really well coached team. They're very well coached on defense. They're really well coached on offense, and Lane Kiffin does a really good job of that. They're very disciplined. They don't get a lot of penalties. And they have made constant, steady improvement, throughout the season to play an outstanding game against Georgia. So the quarterback's playing better and played his best game of the year against Georgia in terms of what he was able to accomplish. And, Tennessee always has a lot of good skill players, and they have good receivers with lots of speed, and it's going to be very challenging for us. Their defense is very, very good, one of the top-ranked defenses in the country. Eric Berry is maybe the best, player in our conference, defensive player in terms of his playmaking ability and all the things that he does. Absolutely phenomenal football player. and he is one of the best. They've got, some good pass rushers. Their linebackers run extremely well. They've got very good, statistics for what they've been able to accomplish and giving up the fewest first downs. And a lot of those things lead to teams that play, winning football. So it's going to be important for us to continue to be able to execute, make improvement, and it's going to be a very challenging game for us, all the way around. And nothing's really changed for our guys. Anybody ask me any questions about where you're ranked or what the poll is, what matters? Why does it matter? What's changed? What's changed from this week to this Monday to last Monday? What's changed? Got another game. This is the most important game of the year, and hopefully, we're going to respond to it, one of two ways emotionally. You either respond sort of with avoiding pain, or you respond to it to try to gain pleasure in terms of what you want to accomplish. And I'm very hopeful that, we can stay in the positive side of it and be positive about our approach to what we're trying to accomplish and what we're trying to do, and not get risk aversive and start playing to keep from getting beat, and a lot of negative motivation about what's going to happen if this happens, and all that kind of stuff. Not to avoid, but to gain is the way we'd like to approach it.
Coach Saban, a couple of questions. First, if you could just sort of update us if there's any update at all on Javier Arenas' status and whether he might be available this week.
Well, I think that in Javi's case, Dre Kirkpatrick had a back spasm in the game. He should be fine. Whether he's fine today or not, we'll have to see. Javi's going to try to work today. We have no idea what he'll be able to do or how much he'll be able to do, or what this is not an injury that is something that is going to get worse. This is an injury that is strictly when you can manage the pain, you're fine. But managing the pain, it still hurts. I mean, it's still a problem. And the biggest problem is when he really tries to open up and go fast and all that. And hopefully that's going to get better. But how fast it's going to get better, we don't know. And it would just be day to day this week to see how he does and how it goes. Bowman had a little patella tendon strain in practice on Thursday. Hopefully he'll be able to work this week. Chapman has an abdominal strain. We thought he would be able to play in the game. He struggled in pregame warm-up too. But he's going to practice this week. So these guys are all day-to-day in terms of how they progress. That's all I can tell you.
And the second part, just watching Greg's performance on film, and I guess him having an opportunity to watch it on film, are there some correctable things? And also, he's such a high achievement young man. Do you worry about him being a little too hard on himself about some things?
Well, I think that number one is you got to go back to what got you there, and you got to have simple goals. It's really in terms of what you want to accomplish, and you got to remember the fundamental things that are most important to you being able to execute and playing winning football at your position. And I think we got to get back to that. And maybe we're trying to do too much. Maybe we're putting too much pressure on ourselves. And I also think that the people around us on offense need to continue to improve the way they play, so the quarterback feels comfortable and confident that he's going to be protected, not going to get pressure in the pocket. We're going to have time to read and set our feet and throw the ball where we're supposed to. All those things to me are a part of what we need to improve on. We've got too many good skilled players not to be able to get them the ball so that we can make explosive plays in the passing game. So it's not what we need it to be. It was not what we needed to be in the game, and we definitely need to improve on it.
Coach, you've had two of your key players hurt this year. I just want you to comment, if you will, on your overall depth and how you feel about the depth of the team across the board going into this part of the season down the home stretch.
Well, I think that, we've had more than just two. I know that from your standpoint, Damian Square is not a household name around here, but he was a very good player and had a significant role as a defensive end that was rotating in the games, and we lost him. Dante Hightower is one of the best players that we have, who did multiple things, and we've had three different players sort of assume his role. Hobby does a lot of things, and it created an opportunity for Tyrone King, who did a nice job in the game, as well as Julio on special teams, who did a marvelous job in the game. So we just have to have people continue to step up and fill these roles, play hard, execute, do the right things, so that we can execute together as a team. And I think that's the most important thing. And so far, we've been able to do that. But there's no question that it has a long-term effect on the number of players that you have.
Coach, you talked a little bit about the tradition of the rivalry and everything. Is that important for you as a coach to know, or for any coach, and why is it important?
Well, every game is important, but I think to understand what's important to the people, the institution, the tradition that you represent is, just like I tell our coaches all the time. I can take bad news. I can take good news. I hate surprises. So to me, if you're working here, you got to do everything you can do not to present me with a surprise. Right? Just knowledge of your situation and circumstance. And I think in our position, we have to have knowledge of the situation and circumstance that we're in. Every game is important. No game any more important than the other game. They all have, a significant impact on the outcome of the season and whether you're going to have a chance to go to the SEC championship game or whatever you want to talk about. And this game is no different than that. But at the same time, we understand the importance to our fans, the traditions of our school, the importance of rivalry games. And they are important because of that.
Coach, in your experience, if there is a former assistant at a new school, how much information can that assistant really pass along that's beyond what you might normally get on game film of that team?
I don't really know. I don't know what kind of impact that has. I really don't. I mean, the players still have to go out there and play, and other than terminology and language, and they still don't know what's coming when. So I really don't know. I really can't answer that. I think it's bigger than that. I think it's they have a team of people who have to go out and execute and do a good job, and we have a team and an organization of people who are way bigger than a little bit of information that somebody might have that may create an advantage or a disadvantage. I really don't know, I think I would rather focus on the big picture of all the people in the organization and what they're all trying to do on both sides to have a competitive game and do it with a lot of honesty and integrity, and that's the way it's supposed to be.
And also, Coach, as a defensive guy, what are some of the tenets of Monty Kiffin's defense, and what have you noticed over the years of what he likes to do, and what has he brought to Tennessee?
Well, they actually, he really gained fortune and fame as a very good defensive coordinator in college for many, many years, and probably made some innovations in the game relative to coordinating fronts and coverages and doing some things that nobody had done before. I remember going to visit him when he was at Arkansas, and this was back in the 70s. In pro football, he sort of developed what's called Tampa 2 as a, coverage and way to play that was effective for a long time. And right now at Tennessee, they probably do a combination of both of those things. But he's just a really good teacher, really good coach, has a lot of knowledge and experience, and has done a really good job this year helping their defense develop.
Coach, from a mental standpoint, how well prepared is Mark Ingram to deal with the extra attention he's getting after last week?
I really don't know. I haven't talked to him since the game, but he usually handles it pretty well. He's a great competitor and a driven guy, and works hard in practice every week, plays fast all the time, has a great competitive spirit, and certainly will stay focused on the things that are going to help him continue to satisfy his goals. And I would say the same thing to him or to you asking a question, what's changed? You've had a lot of success doing things the way you do them. The best way to continue to have success is to remember what got you there and continue to do those things so that you can continue to get a lot of positive self-gratification from your performance in terms of how it helps our team and how it brings attention to yourself. So, and I think a lot of other people on offense deserve a little credit for this too. I mean, somebody was blocking a pretty good defense, a pretty good front, and our offensive line did a pretty good job against that group who we have a lot of respect for.
Kim Garner, WVOA News. Your wife helped us out hosting the homecoming parade on Saturday, and I was just wondering if you caught any of it or what you thought of her stint as a broadcaster.
Well, I did not catch any of it, and but whether I saw it or didn't see it, I would say she did fantastic. And you can write that everywhere and show it everywhere, and maybe it'll help me out. And getting my little bowl of cereal with a little yogurt at night, it goes one of two ways. I either have to get it myself, or if I'm good, sometimes somebody gets it for me. So. I think she liked it, so she was happy with it. So if she's happy with it, I'm happy with it. Thanks.